I ask a question before we begin? Are the meetings gonna now be at 7 p.m.? It's just
No,
tonight?
Just tonight.
Okay.
Because we moved it up a week
Mm-hmm.
and it conflicted with other.
They moved it up to Thanksgiving.
For Thanksgiving, because
Okay.
next week is a regular scheduled one and we just didn't want to interfere with Thanksgiving holiday.
Perfect, okay, thank you.
Not that this won't be the only time, because it may happen again, we
Sure.
don't know. But, I mean, it's just a special occasion.
Okay, thank you.
Is Coach coming?
Huh?
Is Coach coming? Since he's like, gotta be sworn in tonight?
He didn't answer.
You didn't have it?
You called him too? Yeah, I called him and he didn't do it.
Should we try to get on to
I
them
know,
or go ahead?
I think they tried.
Yeah, we tried to call.
He's sick.
And you sick.
Are you telling me my number this time?
Yeah,
Well, that sound creates a problem.
Sorry, I didn't mean to work.
November 14th, 7:04.
No,
We have introduction of guests. We need to go run through the order. Everybody really knows everybody here. Have the pledge of allegiance, you want to lead us in the pledge, Jeff?
Raise allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Hey Ed, can I ask a question? Do you have a quorum?
Yes, with 3.
Well, Bobby hadn't been sworn in yet.
He's not sworn in yet. And that's what Coach needs to be sworn in too.
Well, yeah, but Coach is a sitting board member.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I mean, I would think that, I mean, I don't want you to do anything illegal is all I'm getting to.
Yeah.
Not trying to interfere, but,
Actually, Bobby can be sworn in at any time. It doesn't have to be doing
Yeah, but-
anything.
well then,
He is just sworn in after you canvass elections.
I thought they did.
We have to do it.
well, we can get them.
no, without a quorum.
But we have to have a quorum in order to canvass it, right?
Well, what you can do is call Anthony, Anthony can run up here and be present for that.
Don't we call him?
Yeah, because we're kind of in
I didn't really think it would be an issue.
Not because Raul was
Right.
gonna be here. I mean, it was,
Hope nothing
while
happened,
we're in a holding pattern anyway,
happened to him.
and thank you for pointing that out, ladies, but, first of all, I'd like to welcome Bobby to the board, eventually, if we can get there. But anyway, the actual agenda items, a majority is gonna be tabled until Monday because the state has thrown us a curve and has move the IGT date forward, which is kind of a last minute deal. They just, was it yesterday afternoon?
So they didn't move the IGT date forward, they moved the date that we have to tell them how much we're gonna IGT for the uncompensated care forward by like 3 weeks.
Well, it still puts us,
But usually you tell them how much you're gonna do, and then the next day they take it out. What the state is trying to get us to do is tell them how much we're gonna commit to IGT by the 19th, and they don't take the money out until December 12th. So it's
which is Monday.
December 12th.
No, which is.
The 19th is Monday, right. And I was gonna talk about some of that stuff during the attorney's report, and so that way we can kind of maybe set up the special meeting for Monday. And then the other thing that can be tabled is the approval of the IGT for the QUIP and the loan, and the loan documents, so that way y'all can look at those over the weekend. All that that happened Friday night. So the whole thing about the QUIP and the program and that IGT and the uncompensated care program and that IGT happened within Friday to now.
So what you're saying is that on the 19th, we can commit what we're gonna put into, if any or all, what we're gonna put. We have to do it on tonight,
No, you
No.
can do it on the
We
19th.
have to do it
not the 19th.
19th.
What's the deadline and having it in there, what time?
It's just by the end of the day. And it's just a form that you submit electronically. Y'all want a cookie?
I need a spot for him.
For
You
the,
can stand at the door.
He can stand at the door. Okay.
for the things that we're not
He
gonna,
says no touching him, no handshakes, no hugs.
Is he coming from the country? Is he coming from his house?
I would assume.
and what we could do is discuss any kind of committee reports or stuff by the staff where there's no action that needs to be taken. Would that be okay with y'all?
I'm fine with it. Finance committee, no. You got anything, indigent healthcare committee? Yeah. Personnel? Discuss and take action on reports by administrator. Do you have anything, Sherry?
Just, I sent y'all an email. Y'all been invited to our Christmas party for wrestling, by wrestling. So I wanted to give you, to let you, some of you read your email, some do not,
The ninth?
deny. Oh, good boy. And also, just as a FYI, I had to reorder checks, so you'll see that on next month's statement. We also, Stace, how do I know that? She's resigning. Her husband has been,
She's
transferred,
moving to Alaska.
and they're moving to Alaska at the end of December, I think.
If you got a hell of a job.
So what she said was, please accept this letter as This is from Stace Farrow. As a formal notification that I am resigning from my position as counselor for the youth counseling program with the Winnie Stowell Hospital District. It's with great sadness and regret that I must submit this letter. I intend to work for the remaining 30 days as stated in my contract. My husband received an offer to begin the expansion of a company for the western United States and Canada. The position requires our family to relocate to Alaska. I deeply appreciate the opportunity you extended to me by entrusting me with the position and the development of this program. If the relocation takes longer than 30 days, which is possible, I'd be happy to work until right before we leave in order to provide a smooth transition. There is a local LPC that is eager to fill her position. We have spoken regarding this program, and she is ready and willing to step into the position and continue with the youth if she is approved by the board as a qualified candidate. I will be happy to assist any candidate with the transition in order to ensure it happens as seamless as possible. Like I thought last night, I was kind of sad. I was like, I thought she was,
You never know.
yeah, Alaska.
I guess we need to put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
Well, I think somebody needs to talk to the potential replacement. Maybe she ought to submit.
We got a committee, personnel committee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to meet with that lady.
In fact,
Y'all know who it is? Do you know who it is?
she didn't mention her name.
Could you text her and see if she can tell you who it is? How do you know it?
You have anything else?
I think that's it. Just those two.
Do you have her phone number?
Do you have,
I think I probably got it, nobody else did. Or, yeah.
Do you want it or
Facebook.
you want it? You want it?
That's almost kinfolk, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Someone down the line.
A long way down there, some of that, kissing cousins.
So what do you want to try to do? We're trying to get her to come in.
Yeah, I think I was meeting with her, but I think ultimately you need like a letter and a proposal, like what Stace gave us. I mean, and I can give whoever it is, whatever, you know, and we can enter into a similar agreement if y'all like it.
Okay.
So we have all the paperwork done, and so we just need to find out who it is and find out if it's somebody y'all are interested in.
And the program's been doing good. You have much on it?
She saw 11 people last month.
well, we've only gotten compliments on it,
It's showing quick, wasn't it?
that she's, you know, doing a good job doing it. It's really helping the kids.
That's what you have, Sherry, indigent care director, Johnny.
Does anybody need a copy? Okay, so I'm gonna start off with, an overview of our vendors. For the Winnie Community Hospital, Ms. Karen, the invoices that I received were a total of $68,525.40. And based off of Medicaid rate, it goes down to $28,095.41. The total of the pharmacies was $9,649.85. With Medicaid rate, it was $8,411.45. And that is the actual amount being paid. As you can see, UTMB is empty. We have not received the invoices for UTMB since we did move up the meeting a week early. This normally would be the week that I would receive those invoices. So that's why that's empty. And then for youth counseling, it was a total, she was really busy last month. The total for that was $2,210, and that is the amount that's actually being paid. For the month of October, we had 70 clients, and Ms. Days had a total of 11 clients.
Just while let me just so you know what you're looking at. What this is, when we say the billed amount, that's if it was paid,
That's what I'm getting as invoices from each vendor.
but then what they pay is actually the Medicaid rate.
Which is what percentage of 45?
That's all calculated by that software.
Yeah, IHS.
And so when the Winnie Community Hospital at $28,000, that's not actually paid to Winnie. The pharmacy money, the $8,411, there's an invoice. The invoice is for the 3 pharmacies. That's actually money that goes out. Stace's money actually goes out, and UTMB's money goes out. So if you carry it over to the right-hand side, it's kind of a year to date.
I guess the question I would ask you is that when you have this, the hospital, just the hospital right here, 28,000, is this indigent care?
This is indigent care.
Yeah, this
Okay,
is,
yeah,
this
but
is
is
only
this what they basically are offsetting from some support we have given them, help offset what they got from us?
for each client or
No,
the hospital?
Hospital, in other words, they do $40,000 work, does that go against, I think there's some money we have given them?
We gave them money in 2015.
Yeah.
But this number right here, the $227,000, that's a year to date so far for this year. And what we've been talking about the last couple of meetings is the need to redo that 2015 contract and come up with a fair market value amount, you know, through that VMG healthcare, so
Okay.
to where, to have them look at like the last 10 years or however many years, at what an average over 5 or 10 years would be, and actually pay that money. So if they say it's $70,000, the hospital district should pay that amount per month, you know, or a monthly amount to the hospital,
Okay, how much money did you give the hospital in 15?
$2 million.
So where do they stand as far as what's being worked out?
Well, we're way ahead.
So maybe we won't.
And also, on the second page, it shows, I guess you could say my work. The invoices that I've entered, clients entered at the very bottom. And then the third page gives the details of the clients. And then on the fourth page, it gives you details of what exactly, of the details of each invoice. So it'll show you whenever, how many times the ER was used, physical therapy was used, lab readings, clinic visits, all of that. And then at the very top, it gives you a source number, and that's what it'll go by. So that puts it all in there together. And I started doing this report so we can see if our clients are going to the clinic first, or are they going to the ER first? Or how many times the ER is being used in that month, just to give an overall where our clients are kind of going.
And the reason why we're tracking about the ER is if they can go to the clinic, it's a lot less expensive than going to the ER.
Yeah.
And also, then you go to that, you went to that,
Yes, that was my next thing. So that's my report, and then on the 29th, 30th, I went to the conference in Conroe for IHS. They did a new update in the software, and I kind of went to go learn a little bit more about that, the new updates that they did. One of the things that I wanted to bring up was that there's one of the new features that they have is the SMS messaging. So what this is, it allows IHS to text message our clients. And so if they have an upcoming appointment, and if I have that SMS set, it'll send a reminder to their phone.
I put hand sanitizer right there.
I don't know if whenever you guys go to clinics or anything like that, if you have appointments for your cleaning, anything, it'll shoot out a reminder.
You have to walk a chair.
And so for the terms for that is $50 monthly, so that'll be added onto our regular monthly bill, and that's for unlimited messaging. So if I send out 100 messages or 5, it'll be a set rate at $50 a month.
so you can send messages like reminding them
Yeah.
that they need to renew.
And I think that'll be awesome, because sometimes I call them, either they're at work or they just don't answer, and it is a little hard for me to get a hold of my clients that do need to come in to renew. And this doesn't only apply for existing clients, like if they come in and they're new, I can send that to them as well, because there's two sections. We have rapid registration, which is not clients yet, and then we have a client management, which they are established clients with in the software. So I can send their message either or. So that's something that I wanted to bring up to you and see if that's something that we can do.
Can't do it till you get 3 people sworn
Yes, I just wanted to bring it up.
Well, that's not on the agenda, but,
No, it isn't, just something that I wanted to bring up.
right.
And I believe that's it.
Anybody have any questions for Yanni?
Yeah, what did she just say?
The Stace messaged back and she said Vicky, Anthony's mother-in-law,
Yeah?
is the lady that she's recommended for the youth
Youth
program.
program.
Vicky Melanson?
Melanson.
Yeah, that's my mother-in-law.
Stay over there. Stacy's lady, you know that?
She's moved to Alaska.
There's a letter in your board packet from her. Where did it go?
Why did she move into Alaska?
Russell and her husband.
Fishing.
Her husband's pending.
They have a cabin out there.
Fishing's great.
Is that what it
Can we
really is?
finish
Or
this
just
thing
saying
and
that
then
it's-
go back?
Finish one?
Like these reports and then go back?
Yeah.
I'll send it.
No questions? Next is, general counsel.
So, we didn't put the thing about the uncompensated care for the 1115 waiver program on the agenda, because it was my hope that we would be able to kind of introduce some of the issues involved with that at this meeting, and then have another meeting sometimes after this meeting to maybe get like a discussion about this extra uncompensated care money that we were not expecting. But the kink in the armor is now that the state sent an email last night stating that we have to have this IGT commitment form turned into the state by the end of the day on Monday, even though they're not taking money out of the account until December 6th. I don't know if this is because of Thanksgiving, or if, as you'll see, the amount of the IGTs that all, not just us, all the governmental entities are being asked to pay are substantially higher than what we even anticipated in August. I also included an email from back in August whenever this happened, and it's got a timeline, and in here you'll see that you submit it's all within a day of each other. So this accelerated schedule is relatively new. Anyway, the amount of the IGT, and I don't know if y'all recall what this is all about, but the state has changed. There's two things that have happened that caused the IGTs to go up. I just will remind you, in 2016, the total amount of IGTs that y'all made were $300,000 for the hospital, so the hospital could participate in the uncompensated care program. I met with Bobby yesterday, and we talked about like all this kind of stuff at length, but I'm telling you, it takes like 4 or 5 times. Anthony can vouch. But the uncompensated care program is money that the hospital is due for not getting paid. And the reason why they're able to get this is because they take Medicare. Since they take Medicare, they have to accept everybody. So this is, the uncompensated care program is a way to repay hospitals all over the state for the free treatment they had previously issued. In 2017, the amount of the IGT that we made was, we budgeted $300,000, but it came back, and usually there's 2 IGTs, one in February and one in September. And by the end of the year, last year, 2017, the second IGT, everything added up, it was $500,000 instead of the $300,000 that y'all budgeted. And the reason for that, I think y'all can verify it, is because the hospital has been doing more and more different types of therapies and healthcare here on this campus. And like the PHP program, what else is there? Last year, only the PHP, right? So because of the increase in patients they were seeing here with the PHP program, then the uncompensated care program went up. So fast forward to 2018, we go to set the budget. We set the budget at $500,000, and it was pretty consistent. It was through August. That's how much the IGTs total were going to be. But in August, the state started tinkering with their formula on how to how these IGT monies and uncompensated care money was gonna be returned back to the hospitals. And evidently, some of the larger hospitals were basically getting more money than they deserved. And so the state went back and they reallocated the formula to where smaller rural hospitals, there's a lot of private hospitals. Private hospitals make up about 3/4 of the IGT and uncompensated care money. So of all the IGT money that gets paid, it's paid by hospital districts just like y'all on behalf of private hospitals. And private could mean private, like this hospital is a private for-profit hospital, but it also could mean like non-profit hospitals like St. Elizabeth's and all that. So because of that formula change, and I think also because of the hospital's increased services for not emergency room type stuff, in August we estimated that the increase in IGT for this reallocation that the state was trying to do was going to be about $500,000. So basically, in that $500,000 would generate about $1.2 million. And so we make the IGT in September, which was a smaller amount. Right now we're what, like about $400,000 with the IGTs?
So far, 428.
Right. So we've kind of like kicked the can down the road to figure out what to do with this third IGT that's unique to this year. And because the budget was $500,000 and we were expecting it to be, until last night, or this morning, I was expecting us to be having a conversation about $500,000 and this new IGT money. Well, this morning, when I open up the email, the spreadsheet, it's the amount that y'all could actually IGT would be $841,000, $338.15. That would generate for the hospital $1,951,000. So, given the fact that obviously is way, nobody's really had time to consider this or anything. I think the best choice is to get our minds around that and try to meet on Monday, have a special meeting on Monday to consider what, if anything, y'all want to do. Okay? Because the only thing that has to be done on Monday is, at the end of the meeting, if y'all have a special meeting, is we just have to fill in the blank right here and submit it to the state. So in doing this, I thought this was kind of interesting. I put together this little chart or spreadsheet for y'all. And what it does is, it's kind of, because when I met with Bobby yesterday, he asked like, well, what do other people IGT, which I really, quite frankly, I really had never looked at it that much. And so there's two different worksheets here. One is a comparison where it's sorted by the IGT amounts, with the smallest IGT amounts to the biggest. And I tried to find people like in East Texas, or I always think Harris County is interesting, Beaumont, obviously Anahuac. Then I think Jasper's in here. Their hospital, just various hospitals are in here that show the IGT amounts. Yeah. And so the first page does that, and then the second page is sorted by like the governmental entities, so that you could see, you can look at it by governmental entity. And I think that there's some kind of, I don't think Chambers Health or Chambers County Hospital District is shown as making an IGT for Memorial Hospital of Polk County. I don't think that's correct, because, well, that wouldn't make sense. It's like a $1.5 million IGT. And I don't think that's correct, because it still shows us being the partner for Baptist Memorial, which was something they did back in 2011. Yeah, and we've asked them to fix the part about us, but I've never noticed anything about Chambers Health in Polk County. I don't know why that would be the case. But anyway, so for the Chambers Health, the one I would look at is the Bays High Community Hospital. Their IGT is maxed out at $238,000. And you see the Harris County Hospital District, they make IGTs for 11 other hospitals, for private, you know.
Hubert, what's the column that says total?
That's so if you maxed out the IGT for this year, with this third IGT, this would be the maximum amount that would be returned to the hospital. But granted, remember, they have these numbers, but once it actually hits, the numbers go down, right? You know, so it's not always, these are the maximum numbers, but usually there's about, what, Mo, like 15% or 20%, they call it a haircut.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of money that the hospitals get back. But like Jasper was at, their IGT is $1.7 million. The ones in Jefferson County, like for Christa St. Elizabeth's, theirs is $23.3 million. The Medical Center of Southeast Texas, which is the Medical Center of Southeast Texas is not a nonprofit. That's a for-profit hospital, right? There in Beaumont or Jefferson County, their IGT is $7.4 million, and which raises the obvious question: is how is Jefferson County funding over $30 million worth of IGTs? And the way they do it in Jefferson County, since they don't have a hospital district, is on a bed tax. So if you go to the hospital, basically the hospital charges itself a tax and then sets aside that money for IGTs, right? But the difference there is that, that was all set up by statute. So, with this said, I think Ed, you want to address this at all? Or?
No, go ahead. Throw it out there.
Do you want to address it?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, in talking to several of the board members, and then I also talked to Mo and Chris, just so we're all on the same page, I think what they would like, and y'all expand on it how you want, is the concern is well, since this money obviously wasn't budgeted, they want to make sure that the money stays here, right? And that one, the first thing that needs to happen is would go through the finances here in a little while, but like whenever I was meeting with Bobby the other day, the big problem we always have is cash flow. We have a lot of cash, but then we have a lot of obligations that we're trying to keep going, to generate more cash, or I say we, but y'all. So that's one issue, is how much could you afford if you wanted to do as much as you could do, okay? The second issue I think y'all have, and y'all speak up please, is that y'all want to say, okay, well, if you're going to give somebody the extra money, y'all wanna know where all the extra IGT is coming from, other than just the formula, and y'all wanna know, okay, what are y'all gonna do with this money? Right?
Yeah, I see the thing.
Don't all speak at once.
Yeah, I'm just a new board member, but, y'all bring a lot of people in from the outside areas. There's some of these non-payments from those people, so why should the Winnie Stowell Hospital District be paying for people from other areas coming in here, which y'all have the right to do what you want to. But that's my question is, this money, this is tax dollars for the Chambers County, this hospital district here, Winnie Stowell Hospital District. And I don't know that we can even afford $800,000. That would be something the county sitting over here needs to tell us what we can and can't do. And that's a lot of money. And my problem with this next year is gonna be probably more. And where does it, I'm not saying not to help y'all, but what do we do to keep from breaking ourselves with this on this one payment? So that's how I feel about it. We need information. How many patients we were talking about, y'all saw that didn't pay. Were they emergency room, were they clinics? Were they outpatients from other areas? Because I know I see your vans over in Cleveland and other areas picking people up. Well, personally, representing the taxpayers, I don't think that should be our problem. If y'all bring them in here and there's no payment, that's y'all's problem, not mine. And, this is kind of new to me, but we went from $500,000 to $800,000. Since I talked to him yesterday, that's a huge amount of money difference. And I know y'all have no control over what the state's saying, I know that. But that's all, I would like to see this before Monday, where we can look at it and go through it and look and see make a decision based on what's going on.
Those vans aren't bringing people to be treated at the hospital. Those vans are bringing people for the PHP program.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are they bringing it, you're not bringing patients in for the clinic and the hospital or anything like that? They're just bringing patients to the PHP program.
Correct.
So that doesn't fall under the uncompensated care.
Well, no, it does. It does. And there's two ways to look at it, okay? If you look at all the hospitals in the country, in the state that are participating in this program, some of them are really large hospitals, some of them are really small hospitals, okay? Say MD Anderson. Say that MD Anderson has a bunch of uncompensated care from all over the world, right? MD Anderson, right, they're not saying, well, we're only doing it for the people in Harris County. I understand the logic, and because you've expressed the same logic, and I've expressed the same logic. So I talked to Bobby about this yesterday. There's two ways, just if I give an opinion, there's two ways to think about it. There's that way, or the other way is by doing that, they create the opportunity to get more drawdown, more uncompensated care payments, which is good if you guys, it could be seen as good depending on your opinion. If you guys are of the mindset of that's a good investment for y'all and a good return on their dollar.
I guess one of the things that, it doesn't necessarily have to do exactly with what Bobby said, but on the same lines, if we understood more about, number one, how the IGT formula works and what it's going to do for the local community, that would, it helps.
Yeah, that's
simplify.
what I was trying to say is, if you're able to explain why the IGT is bigger, and if the people are from out of the area, but that enables the uncompensated care to be returned, if that's going to help the overall community, then maybe, does that make sense? And then maybe it's beneficial to the community. So if the people from outside of the community help drive up their ability to receive other money, that's good to the extent that it could be seen as good if it helps the community somehow.
What percentage of that is uncompensated?
That's the part that we don't have.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Are y'all able to show that to us, what percentage y'all see and it's not compensated, or, it's non-compensated?
I'm going to go back to our account and see what they say.
Okay, I mean, like I said, I'm new, when you went from 500,000 to 800-some thousand, that's astronomical for this hospital district.
I understand. That's a big change, that's a big jump actually. I understand that, but let me ask the board a question over here. Is the issue why this much, or is the issue where the money's gonna be spent at, or is it a combination of both?
Yeah, I didn't want to speak for the other members, but for me, it's both.
Okay.
Both.
and one thing I've talked to with just about everybody is that at $300,000, I mean, this hospital does not make, rural hospitals don't make money by themselves.
Right.
They lose money, right? So you want to, at $300,000, it generates like $700,000.
And that helps.
Hopefully that helps the bottom line. At some point, you know, like you're covering the bottom line, and I mean, even Mo knows, and when I talked to him about it, I mean, this jump, you didn't even know. I mean, it's not something they knew about either, so.
Right, if I could just make an analogy that may or may not make sense. But let's just say I asked Ed to do some work at my house, and he told me it was gonna cost $500,000, and he showed up, and he, that was all great, and then he came back to me and said, I'm gonna need another $500,000, but I can't really tell you why. You see, that's part of the, and I'm not saying you guys specifically are asking for it. I would like to better understand the formula that makes it so it makes sense to us. And then, of course, the other end is what happens with the money. Like, what does it go towards?
Yeah, what's usable.
So can we get that done by Monday?
We'll then go ahead and try and explain where it came from and what it's gonna be used for.
And I didn't just talk to the hospital today, I talked to the,
Did you say that you spoke with LTC? Did you ask them about?
they're, people are mystified. I mean, Tommy Davis, I was trying to get through to him because he prepares a lot for other hospitals. And so I haven't heard back from him. He was, before we changed our board meeting, he was gonna present the audit for 2017 at next week's meeting. But he's gonna push that till next month because we moved our meeting up a week. So I was hoping to.
Would you mind asking them if they can tell us
Whether
whether somebody like Liberty is even considering being able to come up with that kind of cash?
yeah.
Like, what did they do? Is it possible to ask them that? Like, was theirs 300,000 and it went to 400,000?
Well, LTC or New Light manages Liberty.
I know, that's why I'm
Yeah, we
asking,
can ask
can
them.
you
That's
ask
why
LTC?
That's why they should know,
Yeah.
you would think.
Why it went up?
What I'm trying to say is this isn't a Winnie Community Hospital
Yeah, it's
specific
not.
situation. This
No,
is
I
like,
understand it's a formula, that's the part that,
well, and then they never told you what the formula is.
right.
So in August, we were all kicking around. There was 4 or 5 different options of the formula. And that's in the different explanation of the options are in here.
Yeah.
And then they never have said which one they chose. They gave us this number. Well, when you go to look at this number compared to options that we were given, it's not, it's different.
I remember from this draft here.
So, so hopefully, we can have some more clear answers for y'all or somebody at the hospital about.
It'd be nice to know what it is gonna be next year too, is it the same thing? I don't even know if they can.
Well, I don't see how they know what it could be next year because
Well, then, when we came up with the
they have
budget-
come up with a formula now. So it should be a consistent next year.
Yeah, that's
I'm inappropriate on video.
Two sugars, please.
There's nothing much consistent about
You
the
fail,
health.
yeah, you fail to realize that there's nothing consistent about food.
I'll put sugar in my wife's coffee, I sure say I ain't putting it in yours.
You're a good boy. Thank you.
I know it's a burden on them.
Out of respect for the video camera.
Do good lunch.
Do you have a draft?
I know you asked. You want me to make copies for
Well,
everybody?
I don't talk about the farm. Wow. Kinda like if they looked into it,
You have anything to add?
Yeah, what time you want to set the meeting for?
Well, I did a draft agenda for y'all and it's set for 9 o'clock, so.
Now, hey, of this 840, we paid quite a bit, right?
No, this is new.
This is an addition.
This is on top of what we've already paid. That's the part that is really, really.
You paid like, what was it again, 420? So if you did the whole 840, it would be 840 plus 420, so it would be like 1 point something, $3 million. But again, I want to stress,
And that's the,
Yeah, we can.
it's not that we have to do the whole amount.
it's the maximum amount.
That's the maximum amount we have to put in.
And this time, unlike the other times, that they kind of seem to be emphasizing that this is the maximum amount you're allowed. So, in the past, they have never said that. In the past, it's been like, here's your IGP.
This is the amount.
What are the times?
It is, but we need to know what that, gonna be, what that is, we can spend on.
See if we can see when it's spent. Come back and show us where it's been spent.
Yeah.
But listen, I just want to, there's one thing that's important to remind y'all of. When you make the IGTs for uncompensated care, the lead 15 waiver program, there's not, it's supposed to be a bona fide donation. It's a, you can't have a bunch of strings attached. So,
We don't want a bunch of strings.
That would be a gentleman's agreement. If y'all agree to produce to us on your own, we don't have to put any contingents on it. I mean, you know, I'm asking you if you'll produce this.
It's not the multitude of strings, it's just one.
well, one is a lot.
That's a lot of money.
Well, life goes on, they'll come up again.
Sorry, I still
We
work.
work together, we work together if we don't.
So, here's an agenda for a special meeting, that if you're gonna have it, you need to have it posted by tomorrow. And on the agenda is discuss the IGT for QUIP year 2, the second half. And the loan documents that we prepared today and gave to you today, so y'all can look at that over the weekend. And then also the intergovernmental transfer I mean, I would expect most of that meeting would be a discussion about the IGT for the 11-15 program. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, I may be out of town, or I may not. That's gonna be great.
Well, I'm ready to. We just need to change that. Otherwise, in the financial report at the end of it, if y'all remind me, in the numbers for the QUIP year 2, fourth quarter payment. And that we've received, and I kind of wanted to explain to you why we were more than the nursing. Well, we can do that in the financial.
Okay, any questions from general counsel? Comments? LTC's report? You gonna get that one?
This month, we didn't get an email, we just received their standard executive summary and their overall report. We've asked, just so you know, we've asked them to come once a quarter to present reports and updates. And they work pretty hard with, as far as what we have coming up in December and January is the adoption of rules for QUIP 3, which are going to be different than the rules for the first year QUIP and the second year QUIP. Third year QUIP is going to have the monthly report that the nursing homes turn in to get the IGT funds back is going to be a little more substantial, like they have to produce minutes of meetings and we have to show our involvement, which we do. We go to inspect these nursing homes once a quarter. And so there's a little bit more documentation. There is going to be the ability for nursing homes to have a lower percentage of Medicaid people to participate. I think it's like 65%, so that will, if you have a Medicaid rate at 65% or lower or higher. So if your Medicaid rate, if you're a nursing home and you have at least 65% of the people are on Medicaid, then you can participate in the program without being affiliated with a governmental entity. And you remember this was all back in the spring of last year. They were talking about doing this with the QUIP year 2, and it didn't go through because what that would do for us is take away 6 of our nursing facilities. One of them is the caring facility that's so huge, Spring Branch. And once they took those away, because it would be better for the nursing homes to be by themselves, you know, to not be partnered with a hospital district, then it just didn't make financial sense for us to participate. You know, like our costs are high, you know, the return, we would potentially lose money. So this hospital district, along with several other hospital districts, said, thank you, but we're not going to participate. You know, we can't do it.
Isn't that high on that big, that's Medicaid? Okay.
Well, so basically when they adopted this rule, we're going to adopt this rule, it was going to kill the program. And so what the state said was, we're gonna leave year 2 the same as year 1, but we're gonna change it in year 3. And so what they did was, they've done a really good job of working with, like, they call them stakeholders, which is nursing homes and other hospital districts, to come up with a way to increase the number of nursing homes that can still participate, even if they don't have a hospital district partner or governmental entity partner, but at the same time make it to where nursing homes that are in the program that participate with a hospital district or governmental entity, they can still participate, and it's better for them because they've added a 4th component that people can get paid for. And only people that are affiliated with hospital districts can qualify to receive this 4th component. That's the second change. And then the third change is in year 1 and 2, remember component 1 was your IGT money, and then component 2 was those 4 categories. And then component 3 is some offshoot of component 2. Well, they changed it to where component 2 has to do with staffing and meeting certain staffing levels at these nursing homes. And if the nursing homes do this, then they'll pay that every month, so we don't get paid. So for y'all would have more cash flow coming in every month, you know, because you'll be receiving money every month in addition to the IGT money. So they sent me some crazy spreadsheet to look at, but this week's been nuts. So my point is, in going through all that is I imagine we'll be seeing plenty of LTC in December and January, trying to make sure that everybody understands QUIP year 3. Otherwise, their report is pretty routine.
Any questions on the LTC report? Move to the hospital report.
Moving to report, Dr. Amos has started his first regular routine schedule in the ER today. He won't be on tomorrow, but he'll resume on the weekend. So that's another physician that's going to be rotating in that ER.
How many does that come to now?
It's 3 right now. So right now we only have about 1 mid-level provider, and we're looking by January 1st to have it completely that way.
We're actually looking at, I believe 2 more or 3 more. I believe we're looking at 2 more, right? And we're looking to add in 2 more, right?
Right. If in the event that only one physician wants a 24-hour, versus a 48, we'll have to have them. Usually they'll opt for a 48 if they're not local, so that they can take the 48 and then drive back wherever. But if they're local, then yeah, they go to the 24 so that they can take shifts elsewhere in the region.
So the goal is to get to 6.
4, sure. But yes, to have 6 credentialed in the event one of them can't make it.
Very good. Does anybody have any questions for the hospital? Comments? We'll move back up to number 4, which is discuss and take action if necessary to canvass the November 6th election results.
Here's the canvas order, and it compiles, the order is generated by the state, and you fill it in. And then this is the document, or a portion of the document that's prepared by the county clerk that satisfies the statutes as far as what needs to be in y'all's canvas results. But basically, y'all just need to look at the election results and verify that y'all agree with them. And if y'all do agree with them, then you just give, we need to vote to approve the canvas results and then give President Merle authority to execute the document. And then we'll submit it to the county clerk. The results are, let's see, I think Bobby won. Raul had 973 votes. Dirk had, tell me if I'm wrong, 304, and then Bobby had 478, and it was the top two, so Raul and Bobby are the new board members. And the other reason why we needed to have this meeting today is there's a window that you have to approve this and send it to her. So the motion would be to approve the election results and to give President Merle authority to execute the campus.
I make a motion to approve the election results and give Ed, sorry, excuse me, give Ed no power to execute.
Motion made by Anthony. Second by Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Swearing in the new board members.
Okay. Raul has already done the oath of office. There's two oath of offices for Bobby. One is like the statement of the officer, and then one is the oath of office. And so Sherry, I'm a notary, Sherry's a notary, so you want, I don't have my notary sticker stand here.
Okay.
So he needs to stand in front of you and stick his hand out, and then you can here, look at it. So,
In the name by the authority of the state of Texas, I, George Robert Wade Jr., do solemnly swear or affirm I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of board member of the Stowell Hospital District, the state of Texas, and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and the states, so help me God.
we're going to sign it down.
What color ink?
Hey, Bobby,
Please.
can you raise your hand and turn around this way so I can get a picture?
I could like photo bomb it.
Where are you going, Anthony?
I look like.
Go in the background.
Thank you.
Blue ink, Bob?
Here's blue.
Blue.
Coach, welcome back to the board. And Bobby, welcome to the board. Again.
So here's the next is a statement of the officer.
Raise my hand again.
I don't think so.
I just read it out loud.
Yeah.
I, George Robert Wade Jr., do solemnly swear that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offended, offered, promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any money or things of value, or promised any public office or employment for the giving or the withholding of the vote, all the election as which I was elected, or as reward to secure my appointment or confirmation, whichever the case may be, so help me God.
All right. Sign that. And then, Ed, you need to sign these. I printed out two of them so that he could have one, and we could keep one for the files.
I'll get them signed here and then. When we-
There you go. And then Raul, you ready? You just need to do the, or you just need, you do the oath of office, I'm sorry, not the statement of officer, because you've already done it. So here, you wanna read that, Sherry?
And raise your right hand, coach. Other right hand, coach.
I, Robert Knuckles, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of board member, Winnie Stowell, Office District, State of Texas, and will do the best of my ability to serve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and the state, so help me God.
Excuse me, Hazel.
Backed up on
You can.
Elected officers. You wanna go ahead and do it? Huh? Number 6, consider and take action if necessary on electing new officers. Open the floor for President.
Discussion on, we had one deal.
Well, I'll pay for the money.
It's been a nightmare.
You'd be a nightmare with the paperwork. That's fine.
Take the vice chair.
Sorry?
So why don't we do it one person at a time? So if you did it for you nominate and then second the nomination of the president and then nominate second of the vice president and then the treasurer. And then once all that's done, then you can have a motion and a second to approve the nominations.
You have a nomination?
So are you nominating,
Yeah, for president.
okay, is there somebody that seconds that nomination?
We have a nomination. We have a, yeah.
Okay, so then the vice president would be, we need a nomination for the vice president and a second.
I am kind of sliding out of it, something.
I'm okay with that. I mean, it means that now there's gonna need to be a new treasurer,
That's a problem.
secretary.
We don't have treasurers.
Well, I thought we kind of
Secretary.
stuck me in there or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
remember
we
the
did.
treasurer's report?
Yeah.
We did.
We did,
Can you not still do the treasury report?
wait, as the treasurer. Yeah, I forgot.
We have a nomination of Anthony.
Yeah, we did officially adopt the treasurer, so.
Nomination made.
So he's gonna be, okay,
Seconded by,
You might as well jump in as treasurer, get wet.
no,
Might as
No.
well.
not yet.
We only have 5. So somebody's gonna have to do it.
do we have a second for, Anthony, the treasurer? I mean,
And vice-
not vice president?
Vice president.
Second.
So let's have a discussion. We've got 3 left.
We got, but You got three, yeah, two positions, treasurer and
treasurer,
secretary.
secretary. So, we still need.
Which one do you want?
Yeah, for treasuries and allergies.
Bobby feels he's a little bit new, he wants to get his feet wet.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and I mean,
I'd put it in treasury, we can get you look
you
at
know,
it. You all right with that?
sink or swim, or,
Anthony's pretty good.
we're not gonna throw you to the wolves, Bobby, if you go ahead and take it, I
It's
mean,
okay, I know where
it's,
Anthony lives, and I got his phone number.
yeah. I mean, it's true.
That's fine.
All right, so we're gonna do, no, so Bobby, you're up? Okay, I'll nominate Bobby for treasurer.
Right.
We promise we won't throw you to the wolves.
Well, was there, wait, let's go back to that.
Okay.
Remember, what about that reporting stuff? So you don't have to take that class, do you?
No, because we didn't have certain investments.
Right.
Uh,
Okay.
But if we ever got to the point where the treasurer was overseeing investments of a certain class,
Yeah.
you have to take so many hours for training. I believe
So what
that
we'll
was the
do-
big- That was the biggest thing about
We
it.
won't ever do that.
And at the December meeting, we need to renew the investment policy and in that. And
Uh-huh.
so what we can do then is change it over to Bob. And by the way, we also have to give notice of the budget meeting for December. So you like, you're coming in at a good time, you get IGTs to mess with and budget.
Okay, so we have how much notice do we give for the budget, for the, that's a.
It's
say,
10 days.
Open, wait, what's it called, besides open meeting?
It's a public meeting,
Public
public
hearing.
forum.
Public forum, okay.
Yeah, public hearing.
And the
Yeah.
third weekend in December is the 19th, so
I think,
we would have to go be noticed at the first week in December.
alright, okay, so the 19th. We still need a secretary?
Yeah.
Is that right? I nominate Jeff for secretary. Alright, I'll withdraw my,
I think you should nominate Jeff.
huh?
I think you should nominate Jeff.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'll
I
second.
mean, you're moving down, the next one. I nominate Jeff for secretary.
Okay. So now can we have a motion to approve the nominations?
I'll make a motion to approve the nominations of the officers.
Motion made by Anthony,
Second.
second by Raul. All in favor? Nays? Ayes have it.
And while we're on the subject area, one thing you need to do is, I think the finance, who's on the finance committee?
It was.
Because the finance committee has to meet.
Yeah, Coach and, Anthony.
So we need to change that. Yeah.
We gotta change the finance committee to Bobby. And they, and Anthony.
And also you also need to look at adding code to the indigent healthcare committee and the personnel.
And a personnel committee. So the indigent healthcare committee would be Jeff and Coach, and the personnel committee will be Jeff and Coach. Hospital liaison, we'll leave it as Coach. You okay with that?
What then?
A hospital liaison?
No report.
No report. You're okay to stay with it? Okay.
The ER committee should be,
No, you take that off. We're good? Moving number 7, review and approve the minutes of the previous meeting of October 17th, regular meeting.
I think you gave them to me already.
These
Those
are-
are just a certificate. Oh, you already gave them. Oh, that's
they're
for my.
extra copies.
Oh, thank you. This is usually the new line.
Well, now that we're going to get him to sign 2 copies so they can have.
Well, then, hand it over.
Yeah, sorry. It's not-
Let me go get some more signs.
I have a few questions on the minutes. Page 2. Clarification, action fund by the interlocutor amount of payment of $1,900,000. Explain to me how that works.
Okay. If you go to, let me see. At the very last page of this section, I'm sorry, the very last page of, here's a better answer. I was gonna discuss it in the finance.
And the other thing, the combined total incentive payments was going to be $984,000 by the management agreement. Is that over a few months, or is that 1 month, or
All at the same time.
No, I'm talking about, was that a bill for 1 month, or was that a bill for a cumulative amount of months, or what?
It's the payments are, the incentive payments are in a document called a management agreement. And that's where the definition is. And what an incentive payment is basically, it's half the quip component 2, 3, and lapsing funds. And so.
So the payment received is all part of one that goes together, but it's not the total payment for the entire quit program. It's just a portion because we don't get paid all at the same time.
So it's prorated on what you
We get paid, is it quarterly?
Yeah, so these component, under equip year 1 and equip 2,
Yeah.
the component 2, 3, and lapsing funds is what they call them. So in our world, that's the money that that we receive for the nursing homes meeting these certain metrics. And in all of our budgets, that amount is budgeted for 75%. But what we've been hitting is 88 to 93%. Like one group of nursing homes, H&G, they're 100%. Right, they've managed to do it. It's pretty fascinating.
That's understandable. Okay, what does NSGO stand for?
Non-state owned governmental entity, which is short. It's a hospital district, anybody that's making IGTs on behalf of the anybody's making IGTs on behalf of the nursing homes. So in that section that you're reading off of, what I was trying to do was provide, and a lot of times in these minutes, if you provide like kind of a background, you'll find that you'll go back and use it quite a bit. And what we're trying to do here is provide a background for what the anticipated QUIP 4 was on. I'm sorry, QUIP year 3.
So just high level, if it helps, let's say that we make an IGT for the QUIP program of $2 million. At some point in time, we get back that $2 million and we use that money to pay off our loan.
He's got that.
Oh, I'm just helping.
Yeah.
If he can stop me if he wants. Just say, I get it, and move on. The other part of that, which is this, is the incentive payments. So that's on top, and that's what goes back to the nursing home.
I understand that there's a percentage to it.
Right. But unlike the prior programs, we don't just get all of the money up front. They give it in phases. Any other things that stood out? Any other things that stood out? I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the October 17th regular meeting.
Motion made by Anthony, second by Jeff to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Review and approve financial reports, payment of invoices, and accountants report, and the budget if necessary. Dave? You're up.
Okay, under the accountant's report, we're going to go with the green. Hubert, you usually do that one, and I do the,
Yeah, I was just gonna give, here's a background as to why we do this report. We do it for basically 2 reasons. One is so that it can be signed off by the president and treasurer every month. And this is kind of a belt and suspenders approach here. Since we don't think that certain aspects of the Public Health Funds Act apply to the hospital district, because the hospital district doesn't have investments in the things that require it to apply. But we do it just because I think it's good practice. The other reason why we do it is because you guys, tonight is a great example. Y'all have to figure out how much money you actually have. And the problem is, governmental entities have to do their books on an accrued basis, not a cash basis. so when you're living in the world of accrued basis, it's not your true cash flow situation. So this report attempts to give you a better real life picture of what this report attempts to give the board a better picture of their actual cash position, their real cash position, not their accrued cash position. Accrued meaning you book it
When it's earned,
when it's, yeah. And-
rather than when it's collected. We earn it a lot quicker than we collect it over.
Right. So right now, a good example is it shows an ending balance if you approve the invoices of $4,657,000, okay? Well, of that, you have this IGT coming up for the QUIP program. And $2 million of that, Anthony, as it turns out, we can't even consider holding back the $2 million for the next one because they planned on us only on using our $2 million. So it's not even an option. Go figure. And so of the $4.6 million, $2 million of that would be used through the line of credit. So instead of having $4.6 million, really you have like 2.6.
When you say use through the line of credit, you're talking about your bottom line credit, you have the banks and stuff?
We only have one bank line of credit.
Yeah.
And the reason why we do that is because instead, we've received legal opinions that say it's the issue of whether or not you're recycling the governmental funds that you receive back from the nursing home program. And so rather than use the governmental funds that we receive deposits for, that money is secured. We put the money in a CD, and the CD earns like 1% or 1.25%. And then we borrow against the CD through a line of credit that's $2.7 million. And the reason why it says $2,733,000 is because that's the amount of interest that y'all have accrued on your CD. So the point in this report is the invoices are right here, okay? Right here is throughout the month, they're like, we have interest obligations that are due on the 31st that she paid. Last month, this $12,250 was a pass-through for work I did in September, where the nursing homes paid us for the work I did to review these agreements. And LTC Group went out today. And their $381,000 is already the $2,017,000 at the top. That already has LTC's money taken out.
So this is net.
Right. And then below this, if we have, like, we know that coming up, Genesis hasn't paid for the so the hospital district hadn't paid me for this $2,765. And once the Genesis pays the hospital district, then the hospital district will pay me. And then we have an interest payment coming up of $88,000 for loan 13.
Okay. In our conversations the other day, we have tremendously high interest rates on this money we're borrowing, is that correct?
Correct.
What is the interest rate?
16.8%. And if you go to the next page, this is the loan 13. It was for $6,342,431.99. these are the interest payments, and then the principal payment, you'll see is at the very end. Below that is where we are on the line of credit. We don't owe any money on the line of credit.
So what you're saying a minute ago about the $2 million, you can't use that money to do your next IGT equipment.
So, what Hubert and I were discussing was, we wanted to leave, sorry, we wanted to leave the line of credit alone, because we were thinking we're probably gonna need it for the next 6 months down the line, for the next quick payment. But in talking with,
Our friendly lender.
they're basically saying, you're gonna have to use your line of credit, because we're only gonna want to use,
No, we only have X number.
we only have $4
Yeah.
million to own.
Which is,
I mean, the goal of the line of credit was ultimately to get it increased, so we could just use the line of credit and get rid of the high interest. Unfortunately, we've run into an issue with the merger with Post Oak, where they basically said, now is not a good time. We're changing our routing number with this merger, and we'll revisit this down the road. Did that sum it up okay?
Yeah,
I told him about it.
yeah, but I just, so really truly, we need to find some place to get money cheaper.
That's correct.
That's kind of the, that is like the underlying goal.
Yeah.
Overall, you're talking about $5 million.
Over the course of the program.
And we are talking to a group called Oxford Capital.
And they're cheaper, but they're still not cheap like.
Well, we don't know where they are. Like, we don't have.
Oh, I thought you mentioned that they were going to be.
He said that, yeah, they were gonna be cheaper.
Yeah,
But the big thing with them is you can pay it off.
whenever you want.
Yeah, so you get 6 payments that consist of 93% of the IGT in a 6-month period. So once you get your first payment, it's usually close to 1/6 of the IGT. That's a big chunk to pay off. It saves you on interest. And then behind this is the check register from the last month to this month, and then there's the invoices and David's report stuff.
Can I ask David a question?
Oh, yeah.
Since we're gonna have to do this by Monday at 9 o'clock in the morning, are you gonna have some stuff put together for us to see where we really are on it? If we put different amounts of money to them, to the hospital?
Yeah, right now, it's pretty well summarized. We've got through October 31st, so what we have to calculate is what's coming in after this and what's the rest of the quit payment, and then look at the $6.3 million that's gonna be going out.
Yeah. So we need some kind of, something to just be able to see this.
Right, so here's what's coming up. What's coming up is when we do the IGT for the next quip,
Quit 6.3.
part of your quote-unquote transfer, the purchasing procedures are gonna require us, the interest is, the interest is $607,000. So we have to reserve 300 and half of that, and we have to put it in our account to quote unquote prepay the interest. It gets worse.
Right.
So how much did we net last year on these IG payments? quick.
Last year, where are we, David? So each one,
Basically,
You mean
it's basically 2 million,
Yeah.
Bobby. And that's what's sitting in the CD.
the 2 million is the money that we netted
Well,
from
so
the UPL program.
Yeah, it's from before, but what I'm saying is over the course of the time, the 2.7 million that was sitting in the CD are proceeds from various nursing home programs.
Right, and a lot of the money that's been made has been funding other programs.
Right, but this we have to
Sales
set,
tax.
but this we have to set aside,
So it's restricted.
yeah.
So
Because it's used as collateral to use the line of credit from the bank, which we hope we would provide a history, and that line of credit would be increased.
from each quarterly payment, the hospital district's share is about $985,000. Okay? And of that, about 380 goes to LTC. So the net is about $600,000 a quarter. So that's $2.4 million a year. Now, and I gave you a document, I can go through it again with you. It's the longer we're in it, the more money that we net.
Especially if we can get the interest payments down.
Nobody's jumping
It is collateralized.
It is.
That's the problem.
It's a function of getting somebody to understand that you can
That it's
use
like an accounts receivable.
an accounting method to collateralize Medicare funds. So the general rule is you can't factor or collateralize Medicare or Medicaid funds. And this process is the exception. But it's a function of getting a traditional banker to understand it. So that's why we spent so much time with Steve Lucas at Post Oak Bank trying to get him to understand it, which he does. And then the issue is they have to get the loan committee to understand it and get comfortable with it. So now the logic is go to an accounts receivable lender who understands it, and then go to one who wants to collateralize this money, our money, where they tried to collateralize. So obviously if they're trying to collateralize our money, our quit money, then they know that it has some value.
And of course, it's not necessarily just about that, but the amount of money. Makes people nervous. I get that.
Now we're ready for you, Dave?
Okay.
Yeah, the balance sheet, we've got the cash represented, total assets of 33 million, which does include the nursing home that are owned, as well as down in the liability, it includes the accounts payable that they report to us. Our net, as we stand right now, of equity is $7,724,000. $7,724,000. And once again, that doesn't mean it's available for payments because of some of the items at the top are collateralized or pledged. We have to allocate the interest, upcoming, etc. We're going to move on to the 10-month profit and loss. We got 14,576,000 total revenue. Within the nursing home revenue of 14,128,000, it's, we're gonna make a reconciliation of that for the completed QIP year one, because like Hubert said, we estimated it at 75%, and so that number's gonna go up. And at the same time, when that number goes up, the amount we pay to the nursing homes is gonna go up, because it represents right at half of that. So those two items will go up. And then when that reconciliation is made on the actual, as far as we're gonna need to look at some budget amendments too, to cover the increase that LTC went up after we acquired more nursing homes. So that's gonna be paid on the last 4 payments, as well as putting the last 2 months in there. And then and like I said, the management fees are the payments to the nursing homes. We need to look at how much they need to be amended due to the increase in the amount received due from the QIP program. As far as the QIP program, when we looked at it, we looked at pretty much 1 year. We based it on going through, and so we need to look now at a 1 year. It was a 1 year estimate. Now we need to look at the actual on that. So there are going to be some budget amendments we need to look at for this getting out of this fiscal year, which will need to be.
And potentially the nursing home, I mean the hospital.
1115.
Part of the problem is the nursing homes are on their calendar year September to August, whereas our calendar year is January to December. And some things that can greatly affect this are our projections are based on a $450 million of money to be split up. But literally in August, I mean in April of last year, there were times when that amount of money was going to go up to $650 million. And so, and then once everybody was going to pull out of the program, HHSC said, y'all can, that's fine. We're just going to keep the program how it is and stick everybody at $450 million and split up. And so it's subject to like great increases at times. You know, like they're talking now it's maybe $700 million. And it sounds great because it's more money to split up. The problem is somebody has to IGT that money.
Let me just say one other thing on the budget side. We budgeted real close this year. It's going to be also interesting to see when we adjust the revenue for the revised amount as far as now that we have real numbers. It's possible we could end up having to evaluate whether we're going to have a deficit budget when we look at that 1115, how much we're going to IGT. We're 77,000. We were real tight on that. Interest has not been as much. I think we're going to come under interest somewhat because we've been able to use some of the money to not have to borrow at the high rate. And that's all I've got unless there's any questions. I'll be glad to.
When you say a deficit budget, do you mean, is that that's on the accrued basis, right?
Yeah.
Right. And
Right.
that loss.
Yeah, cash flow and this just, we're like 15 months out where we could we'd have to stop for practically a year before we would be able to say, yeah, where we're saying accrual. Now we can really compare apples. Yeah, but when I say the deficit budget, you got to talk about accrual and the expenditures exceeding the
Got any questions on the accountant's report?
Also, he also had a question about the, how that, component 2, 3, and lapsing funds are calculated. That, and I can go through that with you, or,
Yeah.
yeah, another time. This is the trip. This is money. You see, this isn't our number. I don't know, I was gonna show you. This is our number, and this is gonna be theirs. Okay?
Okay.
Now, now.
Well, it doesn't make sense unless you see it somewhere.
Bobby, any questions on the invoices or anything else? I make a motion.
Oh, I did see one thing, we were late on the payment, I understand that, we've got a lot of money in the bank, but we were late on one of the payments in here.
We were?
For what?
For what?
I can't remember, something to do with your office, I think, or something. No, I saw it, and it wasn't a lot of money, that's why I was trying to figure out why we.
Well, so the problem is as a governmental entity, you pay the bills when,
When we vote on it?
right.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, that's what-
and with that purchasing policy and the spending policy, if it's under $2,500, they can pay it now.
Yeah, it wasn't much money, $800 or $900, so.
I didn't see it.
I saw it.
And is it healthcare?
No, it was that,
The invoice there, $800 some dollars or something.
there's the invoices. I think I know which one he's talking about.
Is it one we disputed?
Mhm.
I don't think we paid that one.
On the, worksheets here. This one. The 2497,
Yeah, well, that was my next question, what's the insurance there?
that's for the crime policy,
For what?
crime policy.
The bonds.
Bond,
Bonds.
okay,
It's a,
okay, okay, that's what I thought it was for, thank you. How much is the bond?
Wait,
I
what?
should tell you on here, or I'd have to go look on it.
That's okay.
The fee he's talking about is $15. The late.
Oh, that's a
No, I
late
just,
fee,
it was
because it
insurance,
was a
you
past
call
due.
mine, because you have
Yeah.
timeline to pay your insurance.
Right.
I did not get the original bill, and I paid it when it came in, at the late, but that's why there was a late fee,
The insurance company, this was one of those for.
yeah. But I get mail from 3 different places, anyway.
Which to speak of, we're gonna have to put Holly. Bond.
Yeah.
Bobby.
Yeah,
I guess
I'll
that
call,
may have been where I was looking at it, wondering what that was.
I'll call, because y'all's are up for renewal, and I'll call the company and ask them to send one over for Bobby.
The other thing that needs to be done is add him as a signature.
I know, and that'll require all of you to re-sign the signature part as well. Every time you change it, everybody has to re-sign.
Well,
So, I will call
this
them.
isn't really changing, it's adding.
It doesn't matter, they're changing the card.
Right, but you gotta take
Your
Sharon
motion.
off.
Well, Sharon was never on it, so.
Okay.
Or you wasn't making one?
I'll make a motion for the payment of invoices and the accountant's report, to approve the payment of invoices and accounts.
And the treasurer's report.
Treasurers.
Motion made by Anthony, seconded by Jeff, to approve the financial report, payment invoice, and accounts report. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it.
Did you guys already go through the, is that where I came in, right? You already went through these, number 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move it to 11. We're gonna table the audit.
Can we get a motion?
What, it's not ready? What
Well,
happened?
we moved our meeting up.
We moved our meeting
He
up a
couldn't
week,
be
so he
here.
couldn't be here this week.
Okay, make a motion to, table item number 11, accepting the 2017 audit to the next week.
Motion made by Anthony,
Second.
seconded by Jeff to table item 11. All in favor? Nays? Ayes have it. 12 is approve the IGT for quick year 2, quarter 2.
This one we're also
Table.
tabling for the special meeting. Make a motion to table item number 12.
Motion made by Anthony,
Second.
second by Raul to table item 12. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it. 13 is approve loan 14 and the execution of loan documents.
Is this gonna go along with, or no, this is separate, this is
Just table.
table, also for the special meeting. Make a motion to table item number 13, loan 14.
Motion made by Anthony,
Second.
second by Jeff to table 13. Approve the loan 14 and loan documents. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it. 14 is discuss and take action to approve purchasing policies and procedures.
We thought we had adopted these a while back, we didn't. And so this kind of came to head when Sherry wanted to go, y'all were told her to get those computers. Well, we didn't adopt it. So that's why Sherry came to the board last month to get the final approval for y'all to approve the invoices. This isn't like a fire department or anything. It's not like, the fire departments, they need this because they need to go and get trucks fixed and they need to, buy stuff. I can't hardly think of any time where they actually have to go buy something, but it did come up with the computers, and I just think it's good policy to have some procedures. And the procedure basically gives Sherry authority up to $2,500 to spend money and present the receipt to y'all. And then after $2,500, between $2,500 and $5,000, she needs the authority of one board member. And then from $5,000 up, it's incrementally, to where it gets to where you have to have it approved at the board meeting. But it also addresses like hiring professional services, and it addresses the rules y'all need to follow when it comes to like going out for bids.
Oh, shit, that reminds me.
So,
Does it address the time regarding contracts too? Like we can't approve something like.
well, that's in the
That's in the bylaw?
that's in the law. What Anthony's talking about is whenever we started doing this nursing home program, LTC, they were trying, so the goal is to have you on the gerbil wheels as long as possible, right? And so they were trying to tie us up for like, as long as we're in the nursing home program. And finally, we showed them the rules and the cases and say, you can't, governmental entities, you're a great example. Governmental entities can't bind future boards to a long-term contract, okay? So we couldn't enter into a 5-year contract with them because you get new board members on, and then the new board members are bound by prior board members. So the governmental entities, as a general rule, should have their contracts terminable every year, annually. Okay? And there are cases where there's employment contracts, like you'll see it a lot of times, like with firefighters, like the whole firefighter world is different, but like if you hire a fire chief, like a fire chief would want like a 5-year contract, and you can do that, and the contract has to terminate, you have to be able to terminate it in a year, but you can pay a penalty, you know, termination, you know, like.
Does this need to be an agenda item? With everything else?
Well, we can do that next month.
Okay, but I just wondered, does it need to be on the agenda?
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's gonna, next month, y'all are gonna have to renew your financial stuff anymore.
Okay.
That's what he's talking about. So these procedures that, and if y'all don't want to adopt, if you want to read them, and we can do it next month. It just needs to be done. It doesn't, I think it's good practice to have.
Yeah, you got it written up, if you already worked it out.
Yeah, with their input. If y'all haven't read it, then it's okay, we can do it next month, it's not a big deal. It's pretty boring stuff. It is.
That's like greatest thing in there.
You think it's the greatest thing in there?
I'll make a motion. Sorry, informal conversation first. You guys need more time to review?
No, I'm fine with it. Good with it.
Good?
It's a good idea.
Good. Okay. Then I make a motion to approve the purchasing policies and procedures document.
Motion made by Anthony,
Second?
second by Raul, to approve the purchasing policies and procedures. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it.
Did we-
Next meeting is,
Did we need
December
to,
19th.
did we need to, set the special meeting?
9 o'clock. Oh, yeah, we could, so what we could do right now is set the special meeting for 9 o'clock on Monday.
Yeah.
Set the public hearing for,
I need to verify with the hospital that I can get the conference room for that. They don't have the other conference room, this is the only one. I have to verify in the morning with the hospital that I can get.
well, if we can have it here, we can have it.
You want me to do that real quick?
Yeah.
Please.
And we also need to set the public hearing for 6 o'clock on the 19th.
Yeah.
Or if y'all wanna do it earlier, we can.
That's gonna be a longer meeting, right?
that December
I don't
19th,
actually, I don't remember.
that's our regular meeting, though, not yet.
Right.
It is, it'd be both.
So it'll be a regular meeting and the
And a
budget.
budget.
Normally you do the budget in an hour,
Then
I
you just
mean,
carry
from 5
over.
to 6, and then 7 to the rest of the unless you
I
want to start
started
it
at
at 5.
The budget hearing, wouldn't you? And let the meeting start at 6?
Well, people are interested to go, give them a little time to get out of work if they work till 5.
Nobody's gonna be here.
Maybe.
People fly
Exactly. Let's just, if it's okay, we'll just keep it the
I
regular.
think you need an hour and a half at least for your budget meeting, in case there's questions.
Yeah.
Then you can start your meeting at 6:30, like you said, start at 5.
That makes sense.
You need an hour and a half.
Well,
I don't know if we will or not.
Probably not.
Quite honestly, last year, I don't recall anybody showing up.
so what
It
happened,
could be different.
the way y'all did it last year was, remember we met at our office and went through it?
Yeah, we had something to prepare and then
Yeah,
go through it
and
line by
then
line.
by that, y'all, you guys who did it, knew it pretty well. And then y'all were able to present it to the board in the budget meeting. And it doesn't, it's never taken like 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah, but that's true, once they.
Because you discuss it again during the meeting.
Right. So let's go ahead and set it for 5. If for some reason it takes more or less.
Can I make a recommendation?
Sure.
I would set it for 5:30 and then have your regular meeting at 6, and if the budget thing carries over a little bit, it's okay.
Yeah, right. Sounds good. What day is that, Chris?
I'm sorry?
Conference room?
Conference room's good. Don't make it available.
Thank you.
Make a motion to set a special meeting for Monday, November the 19th at 9 a.m. here. And a motion to set the regular meeting, the public
Hearing,
Hearing.
public notice.
public notice for the budget at 5:30 on December 19th, and the regular meeting to follow at 6 on the same day.
Yeah.
Good.
Second.
Motion made by Anthony, seconded by Bobby, all in favor? Nays,
Just-
ayes have it.
The way y'all usually do it is he's the chairman, so he tells y'all when it kind of gets consistent, so when it's gonna be,
We're good with it.
okay.
How was your first meeting, Mike?
Well, we got to adjourn.
I'll make a motion
You
to
know what I
adjourn.
stay away from?
Motion made by Anthony,
Okay.
second by Raul to adjourn, all in favor? Nays,
You
ayes
guys
have it.
keep, he's making notes.